Kids, this is Princess Readalong and
The Taste
from Kids Reading Corner 207. And today we're going to read funniest storybook ever, Richard Scarry's by Richard Scarry. Absent-minded Mr. Rabbit. Mr. Rabbit walked down the street. He wasn't looking at the workmen who were making a new hot, sticky, gooey street. No, he was looking at his newspaper. He wasn't looking at his feet, which were getting hot and sticky and gooey too. No, he was looking at his newspaper. Then he suddenly stopped looking at his newspaper. He looked down at his feet instead. And do you know what he saw? He saw that he was stuck in that hot, sticky, gooey street.
The workman got a long pole and tried to poke him out. It didn't work. A truck tried to pull him out with a rope. No good. He was stuck all right. They tried to blow him out with a huge fan, but Mr. Rabbit remained stuck. Some firemen tried to squirt him out. They squirted water at his shirt and necktie, but Mr. Rabbit remained stuck, really stuck. Well, now he can't stay there forever. Somebody has to think of a way to get him out.
Here comes the power shovel. Let's see what it will try to do. Well, the power shovel reached down and scooped up Mr. Rabbit. It dropped him gently to the dry ground. He would certainly have to wash his feet when he got home, but at least he was no longer stuck. He put on his clothes and thanked everyone. As he was leaving, he promised that after this, he would always look where he's going.
But a little while later, he was reading his newspaper again. He had forgotten his promise, and naturally, he wasn't watching where he was going. Oh, don't look!
Sergeant Murphy and the Banana Thief.
Chapter 2.
Sergeant Murphy was busy parking tickets on cars when suddenly who should come running out of the market but Banana's gorilla. He had stolen a bunch of bananas and was trying to escape. Murphy, look, he's stealing your motorcycle too. Sergeant Murphy was furious. Huckle and Lolly were watching. Huckle said, "You may borrow my tricycle to chase after him if you want." BREET. Away they went, chasing after that naughty thief.
They raced through the crowded streets. Don't you ever ride your tricycle in the street. They crossed the drawbridge just as it was opening to let a boat go through.
Banana stopped suddenly and went into the restaurant. Murphy said to Louie, who was the owner, "I am looking for a thief." Together they searched the whole restaurant, but they couldn't find bananas anywhere. Louie then said, "Sit down and relax, Murphy. I will bring your friends something delicious to eat. Somebody had better pick up those banana peels before somebody slips on one, don't you think?"
Louie brought them a bowl of banana soup. Louie said, "I'll bet Banana's gorilla would like to be here right now." Huckle, "We mustn't forget to wash our hands before eating," said Sergeant Murphy. So they walked back to the washroom. Louie went along too. When they came back, they discovered that their table had disappeared. Indeed, it was slowly creeping away when it slipped on a banana peel. And guess who was hiding underneath? Sergeant Murphy, we are very proud of you. Bananas must be punished someday. He has to learn that it is naughty to steal things that belong to others.
Speedboat Spike.
Chapter 3.
Speedboat Spike liked to take his little boy Swifty out for a ride in his speedboat. Oh my! Didn't Spike think he was smart? Once he rammed into a sailboat. "Say, why don't you look where you're going?" Another time he bumped into a barge and knocked a lady's laundry overboard. Swifty, why don't you tell your father to stop being such a dangerous driver?
Speedboat Spike just wouldn't slow down, and he wouldn't stop bumping into everything. Stop! But that was before Officer Barnacle caught him and made him stop. Officer Barnacle ordered Speedboat Spike to keep his speedboat in a wading pool up on land. Now Spike can go as fast as he likes, but he won't be able to bump into anyone. But who is that I see in that tiny little speedboat? Why, it's his little boy Swifty. Oh dear, I think we are going to need another wading pool. Go get him, Officer Barnacle.
Ma Pig's new car.
Chapter 4.
Pa Pig bought a new car to give to Ma Pig on her birthday. She will certainly be surprised when she sees her new car, won't she? On the way home, Pa stopped at a drugstore. When he came out, he got into a Jeep by mistake. You should be wearing glasses, Pa Pig. Harry and Sally thought that Pa had swapped cars with a soldier. Then he went to the supermarket. Stop thief! When he came out, he got into a police car. You made a good swap, Daddy, said Harry, but Pa wasn't listening. He didn't seem to be thinking very well either. Don't you agree?
Next, he drove to a fruit stand to buy some apples. When he left, he took Farmer Fox's tractor. My, but Pa is absent-minded, isn't he? Ma will certainly like her new tractor, said Sally to Harry. They stopped to watch a fire. When the fire was out, they left in the fire engine. How can anyone make so many mistakes? Then they stopped to watch some workers who were digging a big hole in the ground. No, Pa did not get into that dump truck, but by mistake he got into... Hey, Joe, you forgot to turn off the motor.
Roger Rhino's power shovel. Ma Pig was certainly surprised to see her new car. But Pa, do you know how to stop it? Yes, he did. Oh, here comes Roger now. He has found Ma Pig's new car and is bringing it to her. It looks like as though he's very angry and with that someone who took his power shovel. Roger, please be careful. You are squeezing Ma's little car just a bit too tightly. Well, let's all hope that Pa Pig will never again make that many mistakes in one day.
Mr. Fix-It, Chapter 5. Mr. Fix-It can fix anything. At least that is what he once told me. He fixed the wheel on Philip's wagon. He fixed Mrs. Pussycat's automobile. He fixed Sam's boat so that it wouldn't ever leak again. My, that was a leaky boat.
He fixed that flat tire on the school bus. Don't you think you should stop now, Mr. Fix-It? He also fixed a broken street lamp. What's the matter with Dr. Bones? Can't he see where he is going? Dada. Mary's talking ball couldn't say Mama anymore. Mr. Fix-It fixed it. Now it says Dada. He fixed Mother Cat's vacuum cleaner, but he made a little mistake. It wouldn't vacuum the floor anymore. It would only vacuum the ceiling. Mr. Fix-It told her that she was lucky to be the only one with a vacuum cleaner like that.
He fixed Lowly Worm's shoe You are a genius, said Lowly. I'll bet that there isn't anything that you can't fix. You are right, Lowly, said Mr. Fix-It. I can fix anything. Then Mr. Fix-It went home for supper after his wife kissed him. She said, will you please give little Fix-It his bottle while I am fixing supper? Mr. Fix-It filled the baby bottle with milk, but he didn't know how to fix the nipple on the bottle. He tried and he tried, but he couldn't get it on. What a mess he was making. Little Fix-It said, Daddy, let me try. It can't be done, said Mr. Fix-It. But he let Little Fix-It try anyhow, and Little Fix-It fixed it on the very first try. Why, that's amazing, said Mr. Fix-It. Show me how to do it. Now, just be patient. Mr. Fix-It let him finish his bottle first, and then he will show you. The Three Sisters, Chapter 6.
Mother Bear saw Wolfgang, Benny, and Harry walking by. She ran out and said, my house is a mess. I've got to clean it from top to bottom. Will you please babysit with Robert while I go shopping for some soap? Wolfgang, Benny, and Harry all agreed to stay and play with Robert while Mother Bear was shopping. After a while, they got tired of playing. I have a good idea, said Harry. Let's make some fudge. Don't you think Mother Bear would approve? I don't think Mother Bear would approve of that, do you?
When they finished mixing everything together, they poured it into a pan. Do you suppose they really know how to make fudge? Then they all sat down at the kitchen table to wait for the fudge to cook. Gurgle, burble, burble, gurble. Something seems to be bubbling over. Pop! The oven door burst open. The fudge had exploded. Run, run for your lives!
Lowly ran to the telephone. Help, he cried. The fudge is rising. Our house is sinking in fudge. Look out, everyone. Here comes the firemen now. My, they are quick. But Lowly, wait, don't turn on the water hydrant until the firemen attach the big hose to it.
Soon every bit of fudge had been washed out of the house, along with a few other things. But look, who is that coming? Why, it is Mother Bear. Hurry up, fellows, straighten the house before she gets home. Put everything back in place and hurry. Up they did. I have never seen my house looking so spick and span, said Mother Bear. I think we should have a party. Who would like to make some fudge? Lowly spoke right up. I think it would be better if you made it, Mother Bear. And so she did, and everyone ate the best fudge in the cleanest, spickest, spannest house ever. The end.
Tanglefoot, Chapter 7. Tanglefoot was going to the supermarket to buy a can of soup for his mother. She told him to be careful not to trip or fall. I never trip or fall, said Tanglefoot. 1, he tripped and fell out the front door. 2, he tumbled over a baby carriage. 3, he then fell into the supermarket. 4, he bumped into the grocer. 5, he knocked into the butcher.
6, he tripped and cans of soup went flying all over. 7, O-O-O-F, big Hilda was in his way. I must stop tripping and falling, he said to himself. 8. Then he fell over the checkout counter. 9. He walked home without tripping once. Very good, Tanglefoot. He even helped his mother make a big bowl of soup for dinner. 9. But when she poured it into a big bowl, he fell into it. Tanglefoot said, I don't think I can trip and fall once more today. But he did. 10. Good night, Tanglefoot. Sleep tight. The end.
The Talking Bread, Chapter 8. Humperdinck the baker was mixing bread dough with the help of able baker Charlie Mouse. His little girl Flossie watched him squish and squash the dough. After they had kneaded the dough by squishing and squashing, they patted it into loaves of all different shapes and sizes. Then Humperdinck put the uncooked loaves of bread into the hot oven to bake.
After the loaves had finished baking, Humperdinck set them out on the table to cool. Fresh bread smells good. Mama! Finally, he took out the last loaf. Listen, did you hear that? He picked up that loaf. It said Mama, but everybody knows that bread can't talk. It must be haunted. Help, please! Humperdinck picked up Flossie and ran from the room. I must telephone Sergeant Murphy, he said.
Sergeant Murphy arrived in a hurry. Mama! He reached down and picked up the loaf of haunted bread. Mama! The bread said. Murphy was so startled he fell into the mixing trough. And at just that moment, Huckle and Lolly came into the bakery.
That is a very strange loaf of bread, said Lolly, stretching out. He slowly ooched across the floor toward it. He took a nibble. The bread said nothing. He nibbled and nibbled until only his foot was showing. Mama! Lolly stood up. The bread said Mama. Lolly took another nibble, then stuck out his head. I've solved the mystery, he said. Break the loaf open very gently, but please don't break me. Don't break me. Humperdinck gently broke open the bread, and inside was Flossie's doll. It had fallen into the mixing. trough and had been baked inside the bread. With the mystery solved, they all sat down to eat the haunted bread, all of them. That is, except Lolly, he had already eaten his fill. Mama, baby! All right, Lolly, please take your foot off the table. The end.
The Three Fishermen, Chapter 9. Lolly, Huckle, and Daddy were going fishing. Their little motorboat took them far away from shore. Daddy said, "Throw out your anchor, Lolly." Lolly threw the anchor out and himself with it. Lolly climbed back in and Daddy began to fish. Daddy caught an old bicycle, but he didn't want an old bicycle. But he didn't and he wanted a fish.
Then Huckle fell overboard. Once you know that something like that would happen, Daddy pulled Huckle out. Why, look there, Huckle caught a fish in his pant. Daddy fished some more, but he didn't catch anything. He was disgusted. Let's go home, he said. There just aren't any fish down there. As Daddy was getting out of the boat, he slipped and fell. Oh boy, is he ever mad now? Why is he yelling so loudly?
Aha, I see. A fish was biting his tail. It's good that Daddy has a strong tail. Now Lowly is the only one who hasn't caught. Wow! But look what Lowly has taken off his hat. Do you see what is underneath it? A fish. Very good, Lowly. Yes, there is 3 very good fishermen.
The Accident. Chapter 10. Harvey Pig was driving down the street. Better keep your eyes on the road, Harvey. Well, he didn't keep his eyes on the road, and he had an accident. Beep, breed. Sergeant Murphy came riding along. Everyone got on the sidewalk. He said, I don't want anyone arguing in the street. You might get run over. So everyone got on the sidewalk.
And just in time, too. Rocky was driving his bulldozer down the street. I'm very sorry about that, he said. I guess I wasn't looking where I was going. My new cat, my bike. What's all the racket about, Murphy? All right, now, keep calm, everybody. Here comes Greasy George, the garage mechanic. Greasy George towed away the cars and the motorcycle and the loose pieces. I'll fix everything just like new, he said. Come and get them in about a week.
Greasy George worked and worked to make everything just like new again. Stand back, Lowly and Huckle. Don't get too close to him. Well, Greasy George was certainly telling the truth. When everyone came back, everything was certainly new. And I don't know how you did it, Greasy George, but I think you got the parts a little mixed up.
Please move to the back of the bus. Chapter 10.
11.
11. Ole was a bus driver. All day long he called out to his passengers, please move to the back of the bus. At every single bus stop, he would politely say, please move to the back of this bus. There are others who want to get on. My, see how this bus is filling up.
But look there, the back of the bus is empty. No one will move back. Ah, here comes Big Hilda. She will move to the back of the bus. Big Hilda just managed to squeeze on. By this time, Ollie was furious. I'm not going to drive any further, he shouted, until everyone moves to the back of the bus. Does this bus go to Atlantic City? Oh ho, Hilda did move to the back of the bus, and she moved everyone else with her. Poor Ole. Now he couldn't drive the bus any further. All right, everybody out. This is the end of the line.
Uncle Willie and the Pirates, Chapter 12. Not a soul dared to go sailing. Do you know why? There was a wicked band of pirates about, and they would steal anything they could get their hands on. But Uncle Willie wasn't afraid. They won't bother me, he said. He dropped his anchor near a deserted island Aunt Pastry had baked him a pie for his lunch. "I think I will have a little nap before I eat my pie," said Uncle Willie to himself. Uncle Willie went to sleep. Bzzz. "What is that I see climbing on board? A pirate, and another pirates, Uncle Willie."
But Uncle Willie couldn't do a thing. There were just too many pirates. First they put Uncle Willie on the deserted island, then they started to eat his pie. Delicious, they all said. Uncle Willie was furious. He didn't care if he was going to get home again. Then Uncle Willie had an idea. He gathered some branches, some seashells, and some long beach grass. He wove the beach grass into a kind of cloth.
Then he tied some seashells on the branches and made a ferocious-looking mouth. He tied the grass cloth onto the mouth, then attached some seashell eyes. By the time he tied on a spiky palm leaf, he had made a ferocious monster. Uncle Willie got inside. He was now Uncle Willie, the ferocious monster. "Look out, you pirates!" The ferocious monster swam out to the boat. The pirates were terrified.
They all ran into the cabin to hide. The ferocious monster closed the door behind them and locked it. The monster had captured the wicked pirates. Then the monster sailed back home. Aunt Pastry saw it from the dock. She was terrified. "There is a horrible monster coming," she cried. "He is even worse than the pirates." Uncle Willie landed and took off his monster suit. Everyone said, "Thank goodness, it was only you." Sergeant Murphy took the pirates away to be punished, while Uncle Willie had made the seas safe to sail on again. Hooray for Uncle Willie, the ferocious monster! How's the pie, Uncle Willie, you bad pirates?
The Unlucky Day.
Chapter 13.
Mr. Raccoon opened his eyes. "Wake up, Mama," he said. "It looks like a good day." He turned on the water. The faucet broke off. "Call Mr. Fix-It, Mama," he said. He sat down to breakfast. He burned his toast. Mama burned his bacon. Mama told him to bring home food for supper. As he was leaving, the door fell off its hinges. Driving down the road, Mr. Raccoon had a flat tire. While he was fixing it, his pants ripped. He started again. His car motor exploded and wouldn't go any farther. He decided to walk. The wind blew his hat away. "Goodbye, hat."
While chasing after his hat, he fell into a manhole. Then he climbed out and bumped into a lamppost. A policeman yelled at him for bending the lamppost. I must be more careful, thought Mr. Raccoon. This is turning into a bad day. He didn't look where he was going. He bumped into Mrs. Rabbit and broke all her eggs. Another policeman gave him a ticket for littering the sidewalk. His friend Warty Warthog came up behind him and patted him on the back. "Warty, don't pat so hard." "Come on," said Warty. Let's go to the restaurant for lunch.
48 and 8 and 8. Have you ever seen so bad table manners? Take off your hat, Warty. Warty finished and left without paying for what he had eaten. Mr. Raccoon had to pay for it. Just look at all the plates that Warty used. The lunch cost Mr. Raccoon every penny he had with him. What other bad things can happen to me today? He wondered. Well, for one thing, the tablecloth could catch on his belt buckle.
Don't you ever come in here again, the waiter shouted. I think I had better get home as quickly as possible, thought Mr. Raccoon. I don't want to get into any more trouble. He arrived home just as Mr. Fix-It was leaving. Mr. Fix-It had spent the entire day finding new leaks. I'll come back tomorrow to fix the leaks, said Mr. Fix-It. Mrs. Raccoon asked her husband if he had brought home the food she asked for. She wanted to cook something hot for supper. Of course, Mr. Raccoon hadn't, so they had to eat cold pickles for supper. After supper, they went upstairs to bed. There isn't another unlucky thing that can happen to me today, said Mr. Raccoon as he got into bed. Oh dear, his bed broke. I do hope that Mr. Raccoon will have a better day tomorrow, don't you?
Rudolph's Airplane.
Chapter 14.
Happy landing. Look out, everyone. Rudolph von Strudel has fallen out of his airplane and the plane might crash on top of you. Oh, that was a great place for his plane to land, wasn't it? But how will it ever get down? The fire ladder is not long enough, and I don't think anyone will be able to climb up that high, but there has to be some way. Well, Rudolph at least has landed safely.
Lolly and Huckle saw it all happen, and Lolly had an idea for getting the plane down. He told Huckle about it. That's a good idea, Lolly, said Huckle. Let's do it. First, Huckle broke a branch off a tree. Then, with a piece of string, he made a bow. He was going to shoot an arrow into the air, but where would he get the arrow? Lolly was going to be the arrow. Ouch! Huckle shot Lolly into the air. Up, up, up he went.
And landed in the cockpit of Rudolph's plane. Lolly started the motor, and the plane took off. Does Lolly know how to fly? Of course Lolly knows how to fly. But does Lolly know how to land? Of course Lolly knows how to land. Well, I suppose that's one way to land an airplane. Very good, Lolly. I think I need more practice.
Lolly Worm's birthday.
Chapter 15.
Yeah. It was Lolly's birthday. Mother Cow was going to bake a birthday cake. Father was going to town to buy some eggs for the cake and some candles to put on it, and maybe a few other things as well. Be careful, don't break the eggs, said Mother. Father Cat stopped at the hardware store to buy some birthday candles. He left the car motor running. You know better than to do that, Father Cat. Now see what happened? The car drove off all by itself. I don't think Lolly knows how to drive. Anyway, he certainly doesn't have a driver's license.
The car headed for the supermarket to get the eggs for Lolly's birthday cake. As it went past the egg counter, Lily picked up fresh eggs. Father Cat had to pay the cashier for them. Goodness gracious! Well, I never. Mercy me. Make all deliveries at this store. They drove out through the back door of the supermarket.
Then past Mr. Fix-It, who was fixing a broken traffic light. Hurry up and fix it, Mr. Fix-It, for there is a bad accident. Don't be a litter bug. Hang on to those eggs, Lolly, and don't break any. But where is Father Cat? Oh, there he is. He has just brought some balloons and favors at the party shop. Through Farmer's Alpha's hayfield they went. I don't think Farmer Alpha liked that, but then it was the car's fault. No one was steering. Father Cat was still chasing after them. He stopped for a moment in order to buy some of Mr. Alfalfa's delicious fresh strawberries. He thought they would look very nice on Lily's birthday cake.
At last they came to a stop in Mother Cat's kitchen. My babies! My Lolly! Lolly hadn't broken a single egg. Mother Cat baked a huge birthday cake, and guess who had the first bite? It was Lolly's most exciting birthday ever. Happy birthday, dear Lolly. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Lolly. Mama, baby. The end. Thanks for listening. Read lots.